April 26, 1986. A day that would forever alter the course of history. A date etched in history. A moment that would become a grim milestone in the annals of human endeavor. A date synonymous with disaster, a catastrophe that would resonate through generations. On that fateful spring day, the world watched in horror as the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, nestled in the heart of Soviet Ukraine, became a symbol of human error and its catastrophic consequences. The explosion released a cloud of radioactive material that spread across Europe, affecting millions of lives. The disaster at Chernobyl was not just a nuclear accident. It was a stark reminder of the devastating power we wield and the responsibility that comes with it. The invisible enemy, radiation, seeped into the soil, the water, and the air, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The story of Chernobyl is not just about numbers, becquerels and curies, radiation levels and casualty figures. It is about the human cost, the lives forever changed, the families torn apart, and the communities displaced. It is about the human cost of technological hubris, the courage of ordinary people facing unimaginable circumstances, and the enduring legacy of a disaster that continues to shape our world. The liquidators, the unsung heroes who risked their lives to contain the fallout, and the survivors who live with the scars of that day. It is a story that demands to be told, a story that must never be forgotten. The abandoned city of Pripyat stands as a haunting reminder of the fragility of human achievement and the enduring impact of our actions on the world. At the heart of the Chernobyl disaster lay a technological marvel with a fatal flaw: the RBMK-1000 reactor. Designed to be powerful and cost-effective, the RBMK reactor was the pride of Soviet engineering. Its graphite-moderated, water-cooled design promised efficient energy production, fueling the nation's ambitions.
But this technological marvel harbored a critical design flaw: a positive void coefficient. In simpler terms, this meant that unlike most reactors, where an increase in steam would slow down the reaction, in the RBMK reactor, it would accelerate it. This counterintuitive characteristic, combined with a lack of a robust containment structure, would prove to be a lethal combination.
The events leading up to the Chernobyl disaster were a chain reaction of human error and technical misjudgment. On that fateful night, engineers were conducting a safety test, a routine procedure designed to assess the reactor's ability to power emergency systems in case of a power outage.
However, a series of procedural violations and a disregard for safety protocols turned a routine test into a catastrophe. The reactor was operating at low power, a state known to be unstable for the RBMK design. Key safety systems were disabled to simulate an outage, further increasing the risk. The stage was set for disaster.
At 1:23:45 a.m., the unthinkable happened. The chain reaction in Chernobyl's Reactor 4 spiraled out of control. The positive void coefficient, coupled with operator errors, led to a sudden and massive power surge. The reactor, operating beyond its limits, could not cope.
Two explosions ripped through the reactor building, sending a plume of radioactive material high into the night sky. The core, exposed and burning, continued to spew radiation into the atmosphere. The world watched in stunned silence as a technological marvel became a symbol of destruction.
In the immediate aftermath of the explosion, confusion reigned. The authorities, slow to grasp the magnitude of the disaster, hesitated.
The residents of Pripyat, the city built for Chernobyl's workers and their families, went about their day, unaware of the invisible danger lurking in the air.
It was not until 36 hours after the explosion that the evacuation of Pripyat began. Over 50,000 people were told to pack their belongings, assured they would return in 3 days.
They left behind their homes, their belongings, their lives, unaware that they would never return. Pripyat became a ghost city, a haunting reminder of the human cost of disaster.
Section 6. Sacrifice in the shadow of the reactor, the liquidators. In the aftermath of the Chernobyl disaster, a group of unsung heroes emerged from the chaos. They were known as the liquidators. As the world watched in horror, an army of heroes emerged from the ashes of Chernobyl, the liquidators. These individuals were tasked with the impossible, to contain the worst nuclear disaster in history.
These brave men and women, firefighters, soldiers, miners, and engineers, faced the invisible enemy head-on, their courage a testament to human resilience. They worked in shifts, often without proper protective gear, knowing the risks, but driven by a sense of duty.
They worked tirelessly in the shadow of the burning reactor, battling radiation sickness and exhaustion to contain the disaster. Each day was a battle against an unseen enemy, the radiation that threatened their lives and the lives of future generations. They cleared radioactive debris, dumped tons of sand and boron to extinguish the fires, and built the sarcophagus, a concrete and steel structure to contain the deadly radiation. Their efforts were monumental, a race against time to prevent further catastrophe. Their sacrifice bought the world time and prevented a greater catastrophe. The legacy of the liquidators is one of bravery, sacrifice, and an unyielding spirit in the face of unimaginable odds. They are the unsung heroes of Chernobyl. Section 7. The Invisible Scars, Chernobyl's Health Legacy. The unseen enemy, radiation, left its mark on thousands of lives.
The immediate casualties, the firefighters and plant workers exposed to lethal doses of radiation suffered agonizing deaths. But the true toll of Chernobyl unfolded slowly, silently in the years that followed.
The incidence of thyroid cancer, particularly in children, skyrocketed in the contaminated areas. The invisible enemy left its mark on genes, leading to birth defects and long-term health complications. The psychological trauma, the fear of the unseen, the loss of home and livelihood added to the burden of Chernobyl's legacy. Section 8. A land transformed Chernobyl's environmental burden. The explosion at Chernobyl was not just a nuclear disaster, it was an environmental catastrophe.
The radioactive plume carried by winds spread across Europe, contaminating soil, water, and air. The ecosystem around the plant, once teeming with life, became eerily silent.
Forests turned a rusty red and died, earning the name Red Forest. Wildlife exposed to radiation suffered mutations and reproductive problems. The exclusion zone, a 30-kilometer radius around the plant, became a stark reminder of the long-term impact of nuclear disaster, a testament to the enduring power of the atom. Section 9. Echoes of Chernobyl, Lessons for a Nuclear Future. The Chernobyl disaster remains one of the most catastrophic nuclear accidents in history, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Chernobyl stands as a stark warning, a reminder of the devastating consequences of human error and technological complacency. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere, affecting millions of lives and causing long-term environmental damage.
The disaster exposed flaws in the Soviet system: secrecy, lack of transparency, and a disregard for safety protocols, contributing to the scale of the tragedy. It revealed the dangers of prioritizing political agendas over public safety and the environment.
The lessons learned from Chernobyl reverberated across the globe, prompting a reassessment of nuclear safety standards and emergency response protocols. Countries worldwide began to implement stricter regulations and invest in advanced safety technologies to prevent such disasters in the future. The disaster highlighted the importance of international cooperation in the face of such events. Collaborative efforts among nations have led to significant advancements in nuclear safety and emergency preparedness. Chernobyl, in its aftermath, forced the world to confront the complex ethical and environmental dilemmas posed by nuclear energy. It serves as a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance, transparency, and international collaboration in managing nuclear technology responsibly. GAP 3S, Section 10, The Silent Aftermath. Psychological impact on survivors. Beyond the immediate physical and environmental devastation, the Chernobyl disaster left deep, lasting psychological scars on those who lived through it. For many survivors, the trauma of that night and the subsequent evacuation remains a haunting memory. The sudden evacuation of Pripyat's residents, with little to no information about the true extent of the disaster, created a sense of confusion, fear, and betrayal. Families were torn apart, and the uncertainty about the future took a heavy toll on mental health. One day, we were living our lives, and the next we were told to leave everything behind. The fear of the unknown was overwhelming. It felt like we were being abandoned by our own government. Gap 2S. The psychological impact of Chernobyl on its survivors cannot be understated. Many suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. The stigma associated with radiation exposure has also led to social isolation and discrimination. The children of Chernobyl, born in the years following the disaster, have grown up under the shadow of their parents' trauma. The fear of genetic mutations and health issues has created a pervasive sense of dread and uncertainty about their futures. My parents never talked about it much, but you could see it in their eyes, the fear and the pain. It's something that has been passed down to us, a silent burden we carry. Despite the challenges, there have been efforts to provide psychological support to the affected communities. Counseling services, support groups, and international aid have played a crucial role in helping survivors cope with their trauma. Gap 2S. The psychological impact of Chernobyl serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of nuclear disasters. It underscores the need for comprehensive mental health support in the aftermath of such events, ensuring that the silent scars of trauma are acknowledged and healed. As we remember the lessons of Chernobyl, let us also honor the resilience of its survivors, who continue to navigate the complex landscape of their memories and emotions. Gap 3S, Section 11. The philosophical implications of nuclear energy. The Chernobyl disaster not only reshaped our understanding of nuclear safety, but also sparked a deeper philosophical debate about the role of nuclear energy in our world. As we harness the immense power of the atom, we are forced to confront the dual nature of nuclear technology, its potential for both great benefit and catastrophic harm. Nuclear energy presents a compelling solution to the growing demand for clean, sustainable power. Unlike fossil fuels, nuclear reactors produce minimal greenhouse gas emissions, offering a path to mitigate climate change. They provide a stable, reliable source of energy that can support the grid even when renewable sources like wind and solar fall short. However, the benefits of nuclear energy come with significant risks. The potential for accidents, as evidenced by Chernobyl and Fukushima, raises serious safety concerns. The long-term management of radioactive waste remains an unresolved challenge, with spent fuel requiring secure storage for thousands of years. Additionally, the proliferation of nuclear technology poses geopolitical risks, as it can be diverted towards the development of weapons. The philosophical debate extends beyond the technical and environmental aspects. It touches upon our ethical responsibility to future generations. Do we have the right to leave behind a legacy of nuclear waste and the potential for disaster? Or is it our duty to pursue nuclear energy as a means to combat the imminent threat of climate change? Alternative energy sources offer a different vision for the future. Renewable technologies like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power are becoming increasingly viable and cost-effective. These sources promise a cleaner, safer energy landscape, but they also face challenges related to efficiency, storage, and infrastructure. As we navigate this complex terrain, the lessons of Chernobyl serve as a sobering reminder of the stakes involved. The disaster urges us to weigh the benefits and risks of nuclear energy with a critical, informed perspective. It calls for a balanced approach that considers not only the technological and economic factors, but also the ethical and philosophical dimensions. In the end, the path we choose will reflect our values and priorities as a society. It will define the legacy we leave for future generations and shape the world they inherit. As we move forward, let us strive for a thoughtful, responsible approach to energy that honors both the promise of progress and the imperative of safety. Gap 2S. The philosophical implications of nuclear energy compel us to look beyond the immediate and the tangible. They challenge us to reflect on our relationship with technology, our stewardship of the planet, and our vision for the future. In doing so, they remind us that the true power of the atom lies not just in its potential to generate energy, but in its capacity to provoke profound questions about our place in the world. Gap 2S, Section 12. Applying lessons from Chernobyl to future nuclear policies. The Chernobyl disaster stands as a stark lesson in the importance of stringent safety measures, transparent governance, and international cooperation. In the wake of the catastrophe, the global community has made significant strides to ensure that such an event never occurs again. One of the most critical lessons learned is the need for robust safety protocols. Modern nuclear reactors are designed with multiple layers of safety systems, including passive safety features that can function without human intervention. These advancements aim to prevent the kind of runaway reactions that led to the Chernobyl explosion. Transparency and timely communication are also paramount. The initial response to the Chernobyl disaster was marred by secrecy and misinformation. Today, international frameworks like the Convention on Early Notification of a Nuclear Accident and the Convention on Nuclear Safety promote the rapid sharing of information and best practices among nations. This transparency helps to mitigate the impact of any nuclear incident and fosters a culture of safety and accountability. International cooperation has become a cornerstone of nuclear safety. Organizations such as the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, play a crucial role in setting global safety standards and facilitating peer reviews of nuclear facilities. These collaborative efforts ensure that lessons learned from past incidents are incorporated into the ongoing development of nuclear technology. Furthermore, the management of radioactive waste has seen significant improvements. Advances in containment and storage technologies, along with long-term strategies for waste disposal, are essential to minimizing the environmental and health risks associated with nuclear energy. The development of deep geological repositories is one such strategy that aims to safely isolate spent fuel from the biosphere for millennia. The legacy of Chernobyl also emphasizes the importance of public engagement and education. Informed communities are better equipped to understand the risks and benefits of nuclear energy, fostering a more balanced and rational discourse. This engagement is vital for gaining public trust and support for nuclear policies. As we look to the future, the lessons of Chernobyl remind us that vigilance and continuous improvement are essential. The pursuit of nuclear energy must be accompanied by a relentless commitment to safety, transparency, and international collaboration. Only then can we harness the power of the atom responsibly and sustainably. In conclusion, the lessons from Chernobyl serve as a guiding beacon for the future of nuclear energy. They underscore the need for a comprehensive approach that integrates technical innovation, robust safety measures, and ethical considerations. By applying these lessons, we can build a safer, more secure nuclear future that benefits all of humanity. Gap 2S. The path forward is clear. Let us honor the memory of Chernobyl by ensuring that its lessons are never forgotten. In doing so, we can create a legacy of responsible nuclear stewardship that safeguards our planet for generations to come.